WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me once again for Can We Talk About It, where we talk about that elephant in the room. Okay, I want to give a shout out today to my husband, as always, the love of my life, my partner, and I just thank the Lord for him because, to be honest, if it wasn't for him, I would not be here. So he was actually the angel who saved my life. So I want to say hi to my children, Robert, Robin, Dale, Donnell. I love you guys so much. And I would like to introduce to some and present to others Mr. William Davis. He's here and he's going to talk to us about police commissioner, what it takes to be a police commissioner, and what the job of a police commissioner entails. And then he's going to tell you a little bit about his background and things like that. So let me give you the floor, sir.
Well, hello. It's a pleasure to be here. Hello to the listening audience. As you indicate, I'm an elected police commissioner for the city of Detroit in District 7. I represent approximately 100,000 people in the west side of the city of Detroit. It's not like the far west. It's not the southwest. It's like the middle section.
The Midwest.
The mid section.
Okay.
The mid section.
Okay, that's the section I'm in.
Right. The best
So I'm watching him. No.
District 7.
Yep, that's the district I'm in.
You know, we got Rouge Park. We got a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. So I want to just get into what it takes to be a police commissioner. So the first thing I want to know is what type of credentials do you have to even to try to even become a police official, a police commissioner?
Absolutely none.
So you mean I could be a police commissioner if I wanted?
You could be 18-year-old, be a voter of the city of Detroit, you could run. Anyone can run.
Oh, okay.
Right. In fact, I encourage people to run for elected office.
Yeah, I've seen your videos. Yeah, you're really good at that. And you almost made me vote for somebody. But I want to ask something as far as the police department is concerned. Now, in June they just graduated a whole new crew of cadets.
We have graduating classes almost every month.
Every month?
Almost every month.
Okay. So, but just the graduating class that I'm speaking on, and before I even say this, I'm not going to say it's a shame that our black brothers and sisters don't want to be police officers. Nowadays, it don't seem as admirable of a job as it was back in the day. What I would say that there's a lot. I've came across some good police officers. So I'm not going to say Detroit Police Department has all bad cops on the force, because I've ran across some very good police officers. What I will say is, what can citizens, or do they have any type of civilian standard for the police department? Can the civilians come in and have one-on-one with the police officers? Do they have anything like that in place, or sensitivity classes for these police officers?
Well, they do have sensitivity classes. Also, I must start off by saying that the vast majority of our officers are good officers. My personal preference, if it would be better for me and for the city of Detroit if more of our officers lived in the city of Detroit. Right now, over 75% of our officers don't live in the city of Detroit, and I have a personal problem with that.
I have a personal problem with that too. And what I want to ask, because I know Engler back in the day said that he was the mayor at the time, and he said that you had to
he
live.
was the governor. And
the governor.
And he cut a deal with Archer.
Exactly, and said that that all government officials, police department, all these people had to live in the city, and they said that it was on the books. So what I'm asking is it on the books and not being enforced?
No, it is on the books now since like the late 1990s that they changed the law to make it so that you could be a municipal employee and live outside your municipality. Prior to that, the city of Detroit had residency. Because I worked for the city for 34 years in the water department. Mm-hmm. When I started in '78, I know you was just a baby then, but when I started,
no, I just had a baby then.
when I started with the city,
thank you.
You had to live inside the city of Detroit. I think the city of Detroit would be much better off if most of our officers lived inside the city of Detroit. I think we had less crime and had more people to recognize what it means to live in the city. Right now, we have a number of officers that live outside the city. Some of them take an hour or two to get to work. There's no local connection that way.
You know, and this is what upsets me the most. Now, I'm starting to see more and more of my Caucasian brothers and sisters in the department not moving into Detroit, but working in Detroit. Mainly, I'm speaking on, there was some type of multiple shooting or something was going on, and I was trying to do some research on it, and I was telling them, you know, that I'm a talk show host, I'm an advocate, and I, wanted to take some pictures. I was asking what was going on, and it was basically a lot of white cops that was very nasty and mean to me. But the point I'm trying to get to is most of them was blue-eyed, blonde-haired young women, and I'm starting to see that they're very disrespectful. And the thing about that is a tragedy is going to happen to these young women if they don't learn how to respect the older citizens of Detroit. Because these are rookie police officers that's coming in here. I follow the police every day. I follow them every day. They try to get me to sneak in there. No, I'm not stupid. But I'm seeing more and more young white women, and they're worse than any, and I hate to say it like this, racist soldier that I've ever known in the police department. They are very nasty, very cruel.
Well, right now, we still have a slight majority of black people on the Detroit Police Department.
No, but I'm talking about these white women.
Right, but in the last 7 or 8 years, the vast majority of people that's been applying has been people lighter than us.
Yes, and I can understand that.
Right, because the demographics have changed, and they're steady changing, because in the vast majority of our graduating classes from the police academy is predominantly Caucasians.
And it's said,
especially white males, but also white females, and
they're starting to come in droves. That's what I'm saying, and I'm actually fearing for these young white women, because there's the way that Detroit is now. Black folks, their necks are getting stepped on. The black man is so disrespected, and it's getting to the point to where he's like a ticking time bomb. That's the last thing he need is some little doo-wop coming up in his face, talking to him and disrespecting him when he's trying to comply.
Also, there's cultural differences that you will find that, like, you and I could be talking and we could easily be communicating, but someone from a different ethnic group perhaps would have difficulty and would not clearly understand what we're saying, and they might get alarmed and agitated and nervous and scared when we're just talking.
Okay, but I've heard police officers, white police officers, say, I'm scared to work in Detroit. Why are they working here? Because I feel like if you're scared to work here, you got a trigger finger and you're going to kill somebody, or somebody's going to kill you.
Right,
and I mean, it's true.
You have to watch out for people that are scared and scary.
Exactly.
Because they'll shoot you quicker.
Exactly. And that's the problem that I have with, I'm not saying all Caucasians are my brothers and sisters, because just because a person is not your color don't mean they're not for you.
Exactly.
And just because a person is your color don't make them be for you.
Obviously.
So
'Cause we can see some differences right here in the city now.
exactly. It's coon time going on around here. So what I'm saying, as far as I'm actually concerned for my black brothers and these young white police women. I'm very concerned. I don't think the city, the mayor, I don't think the police department cares about the mentality of what's going on with the people in the city when they should.
Well, I'm very concerned too. I have two sons in their 20s. My oldest is still barely in his 20s. He just got married. He's in Florida, but my youngest is still here, and he's like 26, 27. And black males, especially, are more easily profiled. You know, like I said, they're more easily, quicker to get stopped. Especially you have a,
Yes,
you
Lord.
know, if you're driving around in a new Charger. Oh well, how does he get that car?
Exactly.
You know, he got that car because he works for a job. You know, he earns a living. You know, but you know, sometimes some people assume that if you're a black person, you're doing well, that you have to be doing something illegal.
And that's what I mean about sensitivity training, and then having a panel, that's what I meant to say, a panel of civilians to check out these people and ask them, questions pertaining to their jobs. They're just like they have these meat tests. Let them take a test dealing with just the city of Detroit, and just let them take a written test on what would they do in certain situations. I mean, there's a way to get around this. The city is just not trying to.
They do a general psychological test, but it's not geared specifically just for the city of Detroit.
But it should be, because it's 85% black. So it should be. See, that's actually putting the cart before the horse. You're only catering to 15% of the city. So what are you doing with the rest? You're channeling them. You're treating them like animals. And people are getting fed up with that. And there's another thing I wanted to ask you. In 2005, in June of 2005, Washington, D.C. passed a bill that if somebody is accosting me and you're a police and you see it, you have a constitutional right. You don't have to help me. Is that true?
I'm not familiar with that.
You're not. This been on the books since 2005.
But in the city of Detroit, if an officer sees somebody like a domestic dispute occurring, they're supposed to intercede.
Well, this is one of the examples that they gave, actually, as far as this law. And it says they don't have to intercede. They can actually walk away. Just like a civilian, it's not a crime to watch a crime. But I believe if you're a police officer, it's a crime to watch a crime.
It is a crime to watch a crime.
Not all crimes. It's not a crime to watch all crimes. It's not. It's not. It is a crime to induce a crime.
Right. It's a crime to watch assault going on and not do anything about it. Like, say, if an officer see you and your husband physically fighting, they're supposed to step in between y'all and stop you.
They supposed to. That's the operative word there.
Supposed to. I have to say it that way because they may not always do that, but they are supposed to.
Well, I love my city. I want the best for my city. I want the best for my brothers and sisters. I know we can't save Monquisha and Earl Ray and all them, but there are some very intelligent black people in the city. They want peace in their city. And, I'm feeling like, if this one bill that I studied up on, and it's just making me feel like if we got to Detroit 300 and we have block clubs, what are we doing with the police when they actually do not have a constitutional right to protect us?
Well, I was just at an event over in the 6th precinct, and they had members of the 300 there too, and it was a very nice, well event that the police from the 6th precinct, not too far from you, from
over there off Warwick, Plymouth and Warwick.
No, that's where the 6th precinct is located. But this was over in the Warrendale area. They had a Halloween party, and it had like about 400 or 500 people there. And some of the 300s there, we had police officers, we had people from the fire department. It was a nice event for the young people.
You know what's so sad about that? We'll celebrate an evil day and have all of these cops that really should be out here in the streets protecting a bunch of people that don't need protecting. But it's an evil day, no doubt. And a lot of evil things happen on this day. I feel
You're talking about
like,
Halloween, right?
yes, I'm talking about Halloween. Thank you. I feel like on this day, it's good that the police want to get involved, but first things come first. The protection of this city comes first. If you want to joke and laugh and you want to volunteer your time after you get off, then fine. But we're not paying you to stand at a Halloween party. We're paying you to be out here and take care of us. So, once again, why are we paying them if
But also, it's good for the police to interact with the community and for the people to know who the police officers are
I
and
totally
to see
agree.
and see them in other venues other than arresting
totally
people and
agree.
stopping. That's why I'm a strong advocate of neighborhood police officer. You know, we have neighborhood police officers assigned to different precincts. Like over you're in the 2nd precinct, over in the 6th precinct, and over in the 10th precinct. Those are my 3 precincts I have geographically in District 7. And I encourage neighborhood police officers to interact with members of the community, especially like when we have our Bart McFarland, because I'm on the Bart McFarland board.
What is that?
Bart McFarland Neighborhood Association. It's a it's a collection of block clubs and organizations within the geographical boundaries, principally between Plymouth and Tyerman. It goes past Schaefer all the way up to the railroad tracks in between, Schaefer and Hubble, and also
Okay.
and it goes all the way down to the railroad tracks.
At the post office on Joy Road.
No, it doesn't go all the way down that far, but it also goes down on the far side right before you get to Livernois. It's a
Oh, that's
like
a long
like
way.
a half mile or so past Wyoming.
Okay.
Less than a half mile, but down to the next railroad tracks. There's a railroad tracks in between Livernois and Joy. And if you go straight up Wyoming, if you go straight up Joy between Wyoming and Livernois, there's another set of railroad tracks you
Yeah,
get to.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's our boundaries.
Okay.
And we try to do things to encourage neighborhood improvement and stuff. Because, like I say, recently we adopted the Barton School, which was recently reopened on Barton in Ohio.
Right,
on
right.
Joy in
Okay,
Ohio.
yeah. Okay.
Because that school was closed for years.
It really was for a long time.
But they opened up the
because there's a church right across the street from that
right because they
school.
opened up the new McKenzie. Because the old McKenzie was a high school. The new McKenzie is an
Yeah,
elementary
I went to that
and
school for a minute.
is an elementary and the middle school.
Yeah.
But it was overcrowded, so they needed to open up a school. We need to be able to do more with. We have a lot of old schools in our neighborhood that are relics of the past that need to be either made into something or eliminated because we
So
don't want
why
crime.
can't we take these little schools and stuff and maybe use them for because there's something as a neighborhood and neighborhood block clubs come together and these schools can actually be used for homeschooling our children because I believe that the Detroit Public Schools are not doing anything now. In 2016, I started telling folks, government is going to start messing with your money, start messing with your schools. There's going to be a lot of things going on. And if you want to make sure your children get the best, you need to start having them homeschooled. There's a lot of black teachers out of work. There's a lot of buildings that's out of commission. And they're in great shape. And the reason I'm talking about the schools, and I'm going to bring up the police department in conjunction with the schools, the reason that I talk about the schools like that is because it's sad, and nobody's going to say this, but private school is getting everything public school is supposed to be getting. So why are we putting our money there? Because I don't see no reconstruction going on with the police. I see a lot of, because I never said anything about having the police department deconstructed, but have reconstruction going on. That's a good thing. But
Right. Well, the schools and the police department, we should demand more and push for improvements.
how can you push? Now this is the question of all questions.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
How can you continue to push an agenda when the people that's supposed to speak for you are not for you?
Right. That's one of the reasons why you have to be politically active and demand action. Far too often you have a number of people, they just want to complain on Facebook or complain to their neighbors and not really step up and do anything. Far too many of our people don't even want to write a letter, or some of our people have problems writing the letters, but that makes a difference.
And that's where it comes in with these buildings. And I was talking about the private schoolings. If you can't read, you can't write. Your money can pay for you to go write with your child. You know what I'm saying? And until it takes a village to raise a village, we're bringing too many outside people into our village. This used to be the United States of America. Now it's the United States of immigration, because there's no Americans. All the Americans are being pushed out, all the way from the White House all the way down on the local level.
Even with the immigration, you see it's very selective immigration. You see how
Please
they brought,
don't get me started. Please
they
don't.
let these Afghans come in, but at the same time they was pushing out and herding up, these people from Haiti like they was cattle.
That's because the white race's numbers are dwindling. At first, they didn't like Afghanistans. They didn't like Chinese. But because they're white now, our numbers are coming up. They're putting themselves in the trick bag. The agents are putting themselves in the trick bag because they're allowing people to fight us when we're their financial base. If it wasn't for us, who's going to let you go out to Bloomfield Hills with that mess that you got going on in Detroit? We need to learn how to deal with our own. And like I said, just because a person is not your color, don't make them not be for you. But we as a people that have everybody and everything against us, we have to act like that. We have to be paranoid.
Right.
We have
to be able to
distinguish.
We have to be able to make sure our dollars turn over in our community. Far too many of our dollars leave our community at the end of the day.
The liquor stores, all that money leaves our community because the Chaldeans own the liquor stores and the gas stations, the grocery stores,
Coney Islands.
Coney Islands. So, but I tell people, and I did an expose on the place called Players Liquor Store over here on West Chicago and Schaefer, and a lot of these people call us out their names to our face and their race. And I tell people, Google all the ratchet names you know and see if these people are not telling you that this is what you are to your face. So if one don't go, none should go. Money talks. BS walks a marathon. So until you start pulling your money, people are going to continue to treat us like this.
Right. Well, I'm also president of the Detroit Chapter National Action Network. And sometimes when you have, be it a gas station or a party store or a liquor store that's not doing our people right, sometimes you have to encourage others of our people to stop spending their money there. Because if you stop spending your money there, they're going to change, or either they're going to go out of business.
And this is what I tell folks. The best way for us to get our neighborhoods back is when these people do this, just run them out. We buy this business and then it belongs to us. We have to start being no nonsense. We're jumping on everybody's bandwagon and nobody's jumping on ours. Until we become a people that's serious about our life, our lifestyle, our older folks, and our younger folks, we're going to always be like this. There's going to come a time where there's going to be a split between the ignorant blacks that don't want to do nothing and lazy, and the ones who's trying to do something. I want all my people to come along. But if you're going to be ignorant and ratchet and stupid and all that, then you're just going to be left behind. Because that's what the white folks do. When their people get ignorant and stupid, they leave them behind. Guess where they put them at? In our neighborhoods on us.
But we have to act like this is truly a village and that we are looking out for each other. And when we see somebody that's doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, we don't need to be afraid to point out to the fact that they are doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing in our communities, especially if they're from some other communities doing stuff to us.
Exactly. You know what? I'm really starting to like you. I'm warming up to you really well. I really am. So, oh yeah, I want to show you guys my shirt. It says, "I am not down with the shot." So I said that to say this. Everybody's talking about we need this shot. Everybody needs this shot to, survive. And nobody's never heard of population control. More than that, nobody's never heard of faith in God. So I'm wondering, and I'm not speaking to you, but I'm just speaking like making a statement for so-called Christians. I'm only speaking. I'm not speaking for people who don't think they're Christians, or people say, look, I'm trying to make it to being a Christian. I'm talking about people that's Christians and say they've gotten there.
Well, I am a Christian,
Okay.
and I took 2 shots.
Okay.
And I was definitely I was on the fence about it, but in that my oldest son lives in Florida, and he just got married September 25th. So I definitely took the shot because I didn't want to be on no airplane or going to Florida and not being and took the shot.
Yeah, but I find that we did some. I talked to some more pastors, and I listened to a couple of other pastors. G. Craig Lewis, how you doing, Mr. G. Craig Lewis? And they did scientists actually did a survey, and you can go on a plane or a crowded bus or train and not have the shot, and you have a 99.9% chance of catching it as much as you would the flu. Now, all of a sudden, the flu is gone, and here this is. Now, I've never taken shots, and I've heard people say, well, you used to have to take shots to go to school. Okay, well, I'm not going to school no more, and I'm not taking no more shots. So boo to them. This is a democracy we live in.
Right. That's why I took it.
And
I
kudos to
understand.
you. But just like and to my brothers and sisters that's on the fence about who they want to be and how they want to live, I'm praying for you. But that's just like people that's gay. If you want to be gay, be gay. Don't pour me in your mess. I don't want to be a part of that. Now, if you say you took the shot, I'm happy for you. And we can agree that this is something for you, but not for me.
Right.
And we
It's
can
an
talk.
individual decision.
Right, but if you keep on coming to me talking about you need to take the shot, then this is about to be a problem because you're infringing on my right not to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
That's a personal decision. I tell people
right.
that.
But what I say as far as being a Christian, boo to these Christians. You claim you so in love with God, but then when something you can't even see come along, where's the scientists? They've been around. God's been here longer than the scientists have. God knows the outcome of what's going to happen. If people actually read their Bible, this is in the Bible. It talks about this. Just like in the Bible, every dynasty, like the Babylonian dynasty and this, that, and the other, it always came with a plague. Population control.
Well, normally, like every 100 years or so, there's a major epidemic or whatever
It's been going on since.
that helps to thin the herd.
And you know what I hate when they call human beings herds. That is so disrespectful as a human being to be called part of a herd. Like back in the day before I had got into the church and everything, we throw these little parties and you rent the hall and everything. And I read where it says there's only so much chattel can be. And I said, you know what? I'm good. I just stopped anything that says settlement or chattel and it's a payment or it's dealing with somebody's life. I don't deal like that.
Oh, this country did with cattle slavery for hundreds
Exactly.
of years, where they was rounding up black people and using us for all sorts of horrible things, labor and other things.
Well, you know what? The time just done went so fast, and I'm just so glad you came. And I would like you to come back again.
It'd be my pleasure, young lady.
And for the rest of you guys, I thank you so much for joining me. Once again, this has been Donna Stinson for Can We Talk About It? And until next time, stay strong and be strong.